French President Emmanuel Macron called for a real European army on Tuesday. The Times called it his strongest language yet on the need for an independent defense force. And they're right. Often when leaders talk about European military cooperation, they avoid the term European army. They say things like a European defense initiative rather than an army. He made these comments while visiting the World War I battlefield of Verdun. And another remarkable thing he said we have to protect ourselves with respect to China, Russia, and even the United States of America. Talking about Europe having to have an army to protect or oppose America. And he's not the only one talking about a European army this way. Friedrich Mertz is currently probably the favorite, or at least leading the race to succeed German Chancellor Angela Merkel as the head of the Christian Democratic Union in Germany. So that would presumably make him a major contender to be Germany's next chancellor. He's doing well in the polls, he's backed by senior party members. And on October 25th, just before Angela Merkel said she was going to step down as leader of the party in December, Mertz signed a letter alongside 5 other German academics and thinkers in Handelsblatt, where they all strongly supported a European army. They said that Europe no longer needs national armies, for example, talking about all of the countries coming together, pooling their resources and just creating one army. This man could soon be the Chancellor of Germany, though there's a huge amount of uncertainty around that. So it's clear, though, that leaders in Europe and leaders in the most important nations in Europe are being much more open now about pushing for a European army and a European military. At the same time, Germany's talking about having some kind of European nuclear weapons sharing agreement. At the moment, Germany relies on America for its nuclear protection. An article very recently in the German Council of Foreign Relations magazine is just the latest in a series of articles talking about the need for Germany to change this, to have its independent nuclear arsenal somehow separate from the United States. Meanwhile, the deputy director of the Paris Foundation for Strategic Research discussed the same subject in the journal International Politics. And he wrote that France could, quote, station part of its arsenal, for example, 10 missiles, in Germany or Poland. And so some kind of sharing of France's nuclear arsenal across Europe. Now, calling for nuclear sharing and calling for a European army, that's the easy part. Actually putting it together is hard. But this shift in rhetoric is significant, and Europe has already made important steps in that direction. Most of the Dutch army is now under German command, serving in the German army. Significant parts of the Czech and Romanian army are in the same position, serving in or moving into the German army. The European Union has several projects designed to be a small start for this kind of European military. Just this week, for example, on Wednesday, 10 EU leaders met in France as part of the European Intervention Initiative. And this is designed to help those different nations work together and deploy abroad together much more quickly. Herbert W. Armstrong warned for decades of this kind of a military union. In May 1953, for example, he wrote that 10 powerful European nations will combine their forces. In August 1978, he warned, Europeans want their own united military power. They know that a political union of Europe would produce a third world power as strong as either the United States or the USSR, possibly stronger. Mr. Armstrong based these prophecies on the Bible. Scriptures like Daniel 2 and 7 and Revelation 13 and 17 describe a European power made up of 10 nations or groups of nations that would appear in this end time. Revelation 17 and verse 12, for example, describes 10 kings, which have no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So these 10 kings receive power together, cooperate, and work together. And this union of 10 kings is clearly a military union. The Bible says that these kings shall make war, for example, in Revelation 17 and verse 14. And many other passages warn of a great war-making power in this end time that's made up of 10 smaller nations or groups of nations. Now, Europe has huge, untapped military potential. A united military power could quickly transform it into this prophesied military combine. They're much weaker right now than they would be otherwise because their military is divided between all of these different nations. Put it together and you get a very different picture. To learn more about this power and about God's plan for it and how it ties in to, well, how it's a major step in God's plan for Bible prophecy, you can read our Trends article, Why the Trumpet Watches Europe's Push Towards a Unified Military. You can read that article on our website, thetrumpet.com. Just go to the Trends section at the top, and that will take you through all these Bible prophecies that show why we're watching for this kind of power. You can also read our free book, Who and What is the Prophetic Beast, that will take you in depth through these different scriptures and show you exactly what they're prophesying of and how it's relevant for your life today and where it's leading. So you can get that free book and read that online, or we'll ship it for free just about anywhere in the world on our website, thetrumpet.com.